The universe of the Yankees never slows down, and in just the last few days, 3 explosive storylines have surfaced, each with the potential to drastically reshape the trajectory of this season. Every development carries its own weight, unforeseen consequences, formidable challenges, and pivotal decisions that could ultimately determine the team's destiny in the playoff chase. But before we unravel the drama, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Here you'll always find the Yankees saga delivered firsthand, detailed analysis, insider depth, and untold narratives no one else dares to cover. Stay tuned, because these stories will stun even the most devoted fans. Story 1. Have you ever considered how a single injury can alter the fate of an entire campaign? And what if it's not just one injury, but a cascade of them? That's the situation unfolding before us now. A bullpen stretched to its breaking point, a team refusing to surrender despite being engulfed in storms. The name New York Yankees carries legacy, power, and tradition, a franchise that has known the heights of glory and the bitterness of despair, triumphs, trophies, and devastating setbacks alike. Each time adversity strikes, one question thunders through the Bronx: can they turn it around? Before diving deeper into this turbulent chapter, let me ask you this. If you crave untold stories, behind the scenes revelations, and analysis that cuts beyond the surface, hit that like button and join our community. Here, every rumor becomes an investigation, every news item transforms into a saga. Together we go all the way. Now take a deep breath, because here's where the storm begins. Jonathan Loáisiga, a familiar warrior in the Bronx, one who has battled injuries before but seemed to finally reclaim balance, now faces yet another trial, a possible right flexor strain. Manager Aaron Boone confirmed the grim news reported by Greg Joyce of the New York Post. The timing, cruel. The revelation landed like ice water just before the Yankees clashed with the Tampa Bay Rays, but misfortune didn't stop there. On the very same day, left-hander Brent Hedrick was struck with a forearm contusion, immediately landing on the 15-day injured list. The Yankees' answer? To recall Alan Wines? Yes, the same pitcher rushed into action back in June against the Reds, surrendering 4 runs across 4 innings before being demoted. Now, necessity drags him back into the spotlight. And if you think that's the end of it, think again. This isn't Loáisiga's first battle with his body. In 2016, during his very first season in pinstripes, he appeared in just 1 minor league game before Tommy John surgery shut him down. Now, nearly a decade later, he stands once more at the edge of uncertainty. His 4.25 ERA in 30 appearances may not dazzle, but for a bullpen this depleted, every healthy arm is priceless. 7. That's the current tally of Yankees pitchers on the injured list. 7 crucial pieces sidelined, including headliners like Clark Schmidt, Garrett Cole, Jake Cousins, Ryan Yarbrough, and Fernando Cruz. Add Loáisiga and Hedrick, and the picture darkens further. For most teams, such a scenario would spell collapse. And yet, surprisingly, the Yankees are still standing. Even with this avalanche of setbacks, they rattled off a 5-0 run in their first games after the trade deadline. How? By betting on the survivors. Devin Williams, freed from the suffocating pressure of the closer role, is rediscovering his rhythm. And David Bednar, fresh from the Pirates, is proving why many believe he's one of the league's most electrifying young closers. But the burning question remains, is this sustainable? How long can the Yankees keep scraping by without Loáisiga, Hedrick, Cole, and Schmidt? Can this fragile balance hold? Or will the strain force Brian Cashman into something bold, an audacious trade, an unexpected move to reinforce the bullpen before the clock runs out? Because here's the truth. When a powerhouse franchise is cornered, it doesn't settle for small fixes. And the Yankees have never been known to think small. So I'll turn it to you. What would you do if you were Brian Cashman? Double down on the remaining arms, placing faith in Bednar's fire and Williams's redemption? or scour the market for reinforcements, even at the cost of prize prospects? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over. Story 2. Have you ever noticed how a single moment can define a player's entire career? How one question asked at the right or disastrously wrong time can compress years of expectations, frustrations, and pressure into a single headline? That's exactly what just happened to Oswald Peraza in what feels like the twilight of his Yankees journey.
The swarm of reporters closed in, and then came the question that sliced through the air like a blade. It's a shame you weren't able to fully capitalize on this opportunity. If that sting weren't enough, it carried an even harsher undertone. The Yankees were already rumored to be searching for his replacement. For Oswald Peraza, the echo of that sentence felt like a verdict. He took a measured breath, replying that he was focusing on his work, on controlling what he could. But in truth, did it matter? With just 10 days until the MLB trade deadline, it was clear his Bronx chapter was nearing its end, and confirmation arrived swiftly. Just minutes before the deadline, Oswald Peraza was shipped to the Los Angeles Angels in exchange. The Yankees received little more than a lottery ticket in 18-year-old prospect from the Dominican Summer League and roughly $766,000 in international signing bonus money. Pennies compared to the once glowing potential of a player hailed as one of New York's most promising infielders. Before breaking down the meaning of this trade, let me pause. If you appreciate deep analysis and the human stories hidden behind the stats, make sure to like this video and subscribe. Here, every rumor becomes a narrative, and every behind-the-scenes detail takes on a life of its own. Now, let's dive back in. Peraza's saga in pinstripes is the perfect snapshot of the crushing weight of expectation. At 25, he once symbolized the future, ranked 76th in Keith Law's top 100 prospects and sitting third overall in the Yankees system behind only Jason Dominguez and Anthony Volpe. All signs pointed toward him being a cornerstone of the franchise. But the reality never matched the promise. Over 4 seasons in New York, spanning 145 games, Peraza managed just a .190 batting average and a .542 OPS. His defense, consistently reliable. His speed, elite. But the bat, silent. A swing and miss rate of 32.4%, far above the league average of 25%. And in a results-driven organization like the Yankees, patience is a scarce luxury. This is where his story takes on a tragic dimension. Asked about his struggles, Peraza was candid. He believed it was about opportunity. In the minors, he played daily, allowing adjustments, corrections, and growth. In the Bronx, every at-bat was a trial by fire. If the ball didn't fall his way, his chance vanished. He had 2 small windows as a starter this year, 10 days between May and June, 3 hits and 25 at-bats, 8 strikeouts, and another 10 days in July, 3 hits and 27 at-bats, 9 strikeouts. With each stumble, the doors quietly closed. Then came the trade. A new beginning, or perhaps just a pause before the inevitable. Since joining the Angels, Peraza has appeared in only 8 games, starting just once. Interim manager Ray Montgomery was frank. The infield was crowded, leaving no room for him for now. Yet he hinted at possibility. He's still very young. Sometimes a change of scenery is all you need, and the numbers suggest hope. 6 defensive runs saved this season. Despite limited reps, sprint speed in the 95th percentile, above-average bat speed, the raw tools remain undeniable. The challenge is refining them, adjusting pitch recognition, trimming down empty swings, and turning weak contact into line drives. The Yankees grew weary of waiting. The Angels, though, might see an investment worth making. Peraza is out of minor league options, but arbitration eligibility won't come until 2027. That buys the Angels time to decide. Is he a piece of their future or just a temporary placeholder? For now, Peraza waits. He works. He believes. His words ring like a manifesto. I know the player I am. When I get the chance to play every day, the numbers will rise. But will he truly get that chance? And so, I'll leave you with this. Do you believe Oswald Peraza can still reinvent himself in Major League Baseball? Or was this trade to the Angels just one more step toward fading into obscurity? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from finished. News 3. Now picture this. Your captain, your MVP, the face of your franchise's sidelined right when his team needs him most. Worse yet, imagine the possibility that you might not see him at full strength again for the rest of the season. That is the harsh reality confronting the Yankees with Aaron Judge. Have you ever paused to envision what it would feel like to witness Anthony Volpe, prodigy who once bore the weight of an entire generation's hopes, getting released by the New York Yankees mid-season during a campaign that began with championship dreams? That once unthinkable scenario now lingers like a dark cloud over every corner of Yankee Stadium. And if you're the kind of fan who breathes every whisper, chases every rumor, and feels every stumble like a punch to the chest. Stick with me, because this might just be the beginning of a bitter chapter in the pinstripe saga. From the moment Volpe burst onto the scene in 2023, he wasn't just another rising prospect, he was the embodiment of a promise. A spark of charisma, raw talent, and Bronx-born DNA that had Yankees fans daring to believe again. That Gold Glove. In year one, it ignited hope. Finally a homegrown shortstop who could carry the torch of Derek Jeter's towering legacy. But baseball, as it so often does, has a cruel way of rewriting dreams with cold, unfeeling numbers. A .219 batting average, a .296 OBP, just 10 home runs across 89 games. Those aren't just stats, they're daggers for a fanbase starving for excellence. And it stings even more because this isn't just any position. It's shortstop in the Bronx. It's sacred ground. Worse still, the one thing fans thought they could always count, and Volpe's glove has unraveled. According to Baseball Savant, he's already posted -3 outs above average and committed 11 errors, ranking among the league's poorest defenders at his position. And then there's the base path blunder. 9 stolen bases caught 7 times. For a player whose speed was touted as a weapon, it's turned into little more than a punchline. But what truly chilled fans to the bone? That throw between innings. That one judgment lapse that struck Aaron Judge, the franchise cornerstone, the MVP, square in the face. It was more than a mistake, it was a wake-up call. A slap of reality in a season where every detail matters. Oh, and before we go further, if you're still here, it means you live this like October is every day. Hit like, subscribe to Yankees Daily News, smash that bell. We're not the official channel, but we bleed pinstripes like we're sitting in the dugout next to Judge himself. Now, let's get back to it. Volpe might have had time to grow in another city, but this is New York. In the Bronx, patience wears pinstripes, but not for long. Yardbarker's Jacob Mounds said it plainly. Another hyped Yankees prospect unraveling, struggling at the plate, fumbling in the field, and accidentally injuring the team's most valuable player. And he didn't stop there. Cutting Volpe now, Mounds suggested, might be the only lifeline to stop a tailspin that's already erased a once commanding division lead. The once proud lead in the AL East, gone. And now the haunting question echoes louder each night. How many more mistakes can they endure? Is it time to cut ties? To truly grasp the magnitude of this crossroads, you have to look back. The Yankees don't do mediocrity. This is a franchise that builds dynasties, not excuses. And history is littered with the names of promising talents who crumbled under the weight of these expectations only to shine elsewhere. And you fan, you know that pain, watching our future raise banners in someone else's stadium. Will Volpe become another name on that bitter list? And yet cutting him now, that could protect this team from further collapse. Inside the clubhouse, the tension is real. The pitching staff that carried June now looks fractured, desperate for support. The defense is no longer a shield, it's a liability. Every error compounds. Every missed opportunity chips away at belief. How many games were lost because of a mistimed throw? How many pitchers walked off the mound empty-handed? This isn't just about metrics, it's about morale. It's about a confidence crisis eroding the soul of a team, one inning at a time. So if you were Brian Cashman, what's the move? Double down on a redemption arc, or slam the emergency brake before this season slips away completely. Each game without an answer drives another nail into the casket of a season that was once destined for greatness. And the heartbreak, it falls on the fans, the ones who buy the tickets, wear the jerseys, sit in the bleachers hoping for a spark that once had a name, Volpe. But what if that spark reignites somewhere else? What if he leaves, finds his rhythm, and becomes a star in another city? What if all we're left with is regret? These are the questions no one wants to ask, but deep down, we all know they're real. So now I'm asking you, cut or keep, does Anthony Volpe deserve more time to prove he belongs at shortstop in Yankee Stadium? Or is it time to let go before the dream becomes a disaster? Has Anthony Volpe officially run out of chances? Drop your take in the comments, because here, every voice matters. This franchise isn't powered by executives or spreadsheets. It pulses with the passion of the Pinstripes Nation, and just when you thought the Volpe drama had hit its breaking point, the Bronx reminds us, it can always get worse. Because for anyone who thought the toughest decision was whether to keep or cut the kid who once carried a generation's dreams, a new wound just ripped open in. This one cuts deep. The Yankees' rotation is crumbling right when it can't afford a single crack. Clark Schmidt, the steadiest arm in a shaky storm, is headed for Tommy John surgery. And anyone who's been around the game knows, that's not just a minor setback. That's months in rehab, a full season sacrificed, and a gaping void in a staff that's already staggering. Schmidt was everything you wanted in a mid-warrior, quiet, consistent, and reliable under pressure. A 3.32 ERA over 14 starts, that's no accident. That's a pitcher you don't talk about until he's gone. And then you feel it every single inning. But losing him now, that's catastrophic. Because the margin for error is gone. Every misplaced pitch, every bloop single, Every run allowed now echoes like October has already arrived. And the pressure it falls once again on the fans, questioning whether Volpe is the future or a burden dragging this team down. Because being a Yankee has never been about comfort. It's about living on the edge, every single day. While one half of Yankees Nation debates whether to believe in the struggling shortstop or cut ties, the other half is staring at the rotation, asking, who's going to hold the line now? Adding another starter isn't just a good idea, it's survival. And that's where the rumor mill catches fire. Sandy Alcantara. Let that name sink in. A former Cy Young winner. A man who once terrorized lineups with filthy stuff and icy composure. Now his era is sitting above 7.01 in 17 starts. On paper, it looks like madness. But in the heart of the Bronx, it smells like opportunity. Because real fans know stats don't always tell the story. Sometimes, a change of scenery, a new voice, a legendary pitching coach can awaken a sleeping giant, and Yankee Stadium has done it before. Remember the cast-offs who were reborn in pinstripes. Alcantara's contract. Manageable, 5 years, $56 million. With a club option for 2027. Miami has a reason to listen. His stock is sinking fast, and now might be the last chance to flip him for real value. What would it cost? 2 prospects. Brock Selvage, a talented lefty with potential, and Cade Smith, a raw right-hander with upside. Is it a gamble? Absolutely. But when you're the New York Yankees, not gambling is the bigger risk. Zach Kaplan from Athlon put it bluntly. Value will never be this low again. It's not just a trade, it's a window. A chance to snatch a fallen star before someone else rebuilds him. But, what if it backfires? What if Alcantara doesn't bounce back? What if he joins Schmidt on the injury list? What if the Yankees give up the future for a rotation that's still broken? Who answers for that? Who faces the fans then? And meanwhile, Volpe's ghost haunts every inning. Every bobble, every missed play, every rally killed at the plate feels heavier now. The weight of expectation, the pressure of legacy, the pain of a shortstop who no longer inspires faith. It's not just a roster issue, it's a morale killer, a leaky defense, and a collapsing mound. That's not just a rough patch, a 5-alarm fire in the Bronx. Because when things start unraveling here, you either rise like a legend, or fade into the background like just another forgotten stat. So now I ask you, do you pull the trigger? Would you send off Brock Selvage and Cade Smith to get Alcantara an ace in exile, hoping for redemption? Or do you hold tight, protect the farm, and hope for a miracle from within? Do you still believe Volpe can rise from the ashes? Or is it time to cut bait before more damage is done? These aren't questions for one man in a front office. They're decisions for a nation. Here, at Yankees Daily News, we don't wait for press releases. We debate. We decide. Together. So here's what you do. Drop your comment below your Brian Cashman for a day. Hit that like button. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Because the moment a deal is made, or another bombshell hits the Bronx, you'll hear it here first. Being a Yankee means heartbreak. It means hope. It means never standing still. And above all, it means chasing history. There are moments when the Bronx feels like it's wrapped in slumber, cloaked in a quiet stillness. But suddenly, a name cuts through the silence, stirring ghosts of the past and reigniting long-dormant dreams. Today, it's not just one name, it's two. Two possible keys to a future no one can predict. A salvation or another unraveling wound. Luis Gil is poised to retake the mound after months of torment. And far out in the desert, Eugenio Suarez may just be the spark plug needed to resurrect October's fire. But before we unpack this unfolding drama of rotations, third base puzzles, and deadline chaos, do me a favor, tap that like button. Subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Every click breathes life into this digital bleacher, where we dissect rumors, relive legends, and dare to dream with every swing and every strikeout. That's how legacy lives on from fan to fan. Luis Gil is about to rediscover the sensation of standing tall under Yankee Stadium's blinding lights. After months of aching silence, each pang a reminder that baseball is played with the body, and the body betrays the young right-hander is preparing for his most pivotal step since that spring training setback. It's unfolding quietly in Somerset, at the Dubla level, far from the raucous heartbeat of the Bronx. But every pitch he now delivers is being watched with the gravity of a Game 7. That may sound dramatic, but it's not. Longtime fans know that a rotation is built on a razor-thin margin. When your asterisk coal falls to the surgeon's blade, the entire foundation shakes. Clark Schmidt, once the glue holding things together, followed suit with his own Tommy John diagnosis. It's the passage of time. It's watching your teammates take the field while you're stuck rehabbing, waiting, stretching. And in the Bronx, every comeback is magnified, treated like a prelude to the World Series. We've seen this story before. Luis Severino forever caught between hope and heartbreak. Each time he fell, the question loomed, will he ever be the same? And yet, he rose again. Andy Pettitte, in the 90s, wore his injured elbow like a badge of honor. Every return brought with it a belief that the dream was still alive. That's what the pinstripes demand. There's no such thing as a small comeback, and there's certainly no such thing as patient fans. Every loss weighs heavier. Every overworked bullpen nears collapse. Every opponent smells vulnerability. Gil isn't just returning for himself. He's returning to provide oxygen to a rotation gasping for relief. And if we look at it coldly, this is a beautiful but fragile story. Pitchers returning from dorsal injuries often face a coin flip. Some come back stronger, refined, and smarter. Others never find their rhythm again. And when the pitcher is young, the stakes are even higher. One misstep can derail an entire career arc, but then again, what if he defies the odds? What if he rediscovers that live arm, that 97 miles per hour heater that slices through air like a razor? What if he stacks quality starts, steadies the defense, and inspires the dugout? Sometimes, all that separates a team exiting in September from one still swinging in October is an unexpected arm. And in this gaping void that is today's Yankees rotation, Gil has a real shot to be that miracle, which is why this is so delicate. You can't rush it, you can't overhype it. It's like protecting a flame in a windstorm. One misstep, and it's gone. I remember the dominant Gil of last year. Clean innings, timely strikeouts, command like a seasoned vet, but I also remember that pain collects its debt, and it never asks politely. That's why, when a young pitcher returns, it's not just about the arm, it's about the mind. The trauma of injury lingers. The fear of what if it happens again shadows every pitch. And in New York, where headlines metastasize into drama, every mistake is magnified. Youth, a fan who's watched Sevy Pettit, even Cole, rise from injury and take over games. Do you believe Gil can carry that mantle? Or should they have waited? Let him marinate in the farm system. Shielded from the harsh glare of the Bronx spotlight, in the end, all we can do is hope. Hope that every bullpen throws easy. Hope that every game in Somerset is another step toward resurrection. Hope that when he returns to Yankee Stadium, it's not a visitise stay, because this time, it's not just Gil's arm on the line. It's the fate of a rotation that desperately needs rebirth. And you again, who was the comeback that defined your generation? Was it Sevy, Pettit, maybe Cone? Drop it in the comments. Because for those of us who bleed pinstripes, hope always returns from the least expected places. And as Louis Skill warms up beneath a quieter sky in Dubla, we're left asking, could this kid be the next redemption chapter, or just another ghost in the halls of Yankee dreams? Thank you guys, see you next video.